Welcome back to our video series on the Play framework using Scala. We're just about done with our 5th version of the task list. This is the version that uses a database for its data store. And we had gotten to the point where basically we thought we were done. But then I went and tried to create a user again, and it says the user creation failed. Well, first question is, did it really fail? Because we saw that before, where we just got a message saying it had failed, but something had actually been created. That was for adding a task. So I pulled up Postgres, and nope, there's still only one user here. Okay, so if this had succeeded, we should have had another user. So we come over here and we look at our database, create user. This is one of those places where you can sit there and stare at the code forever, but you won't necessarily get anything until you actually run it and print something out. I'm just looking over this. We run it, we find the users that have that username. I typed in a unique username, it didn't exist. So I should have gotten an empty list. And so if it was, if it is empty, then we want to add stuff. And if I feel like, isn't that code that we had before? So if the rows that we get are empty, we didn't find anyone. If we did find someone, then we just say none. If we didn't find anyone, okay. Seems like a reasonable first cut. We'll try that one thing. Then we put in print statements. I often tell my students, just staring at code and trying to go through the logic of it is generally not sufficient. Obviously, the more experience you get with things, the better it works. But the problem is that as a general rule, no matter who you are and how experienced you are, if code isn't doing what you think it should be doing, then it's often because you thought you wrote something and you wrote something different. You need to know what you actually wrote as opposed to what you thought you wrote. Okay, so that was indeed the problem. We should do a little bit more testing. So, okay, and now if I log in as my original user, I should see that task, and if I log in as my new user, I should see that task. Excellent. So because it's such a simple app, it's very easy for us to do user testing quickly, and this appears to have all the functionality that we want. So we are done with this version of the code. I am going to push it, and you can go see it out on GitHub. Maybe I'll even post a link to GitHub in the description for this video. It's on some of the previous videos, but just to make sure. The next version that we are going to work on is going to deal with the fact that I don't like JavaScript. We talked about this when we started writing this, the fact that our JavaScript still seemed perfectly happy, and going through and trying to figure out what was wrong with it is potentially time consuming because it is a dynamically typed language. Any typos that you have in here can cause errors that you don't find until you run the code. And we're going to look at how we could potentially get rid of that in our next set of videos. But this is it for now, and we're done with task list version 5.